Once again, Augusta County Sheriff Donald Smith has shown where his loyalty lies, and it's not with the people of Augusta County, and it's not with law and order. The sheriff is loyal to Felix Chujoy, his longtime friend and alleged lover. Felix Chujoy was indicted by an Augusta County grand jury back on May 26, 2020, on a felony count of manufacturing a controlled substance. As a result of that direct indictment, a capias was issued for the arrest of Felix Adriano Chujoy. Once that happened, the Augusta County Sheriff's Office was supposed to enter the indictment and capias into the Virginia Criminal Information Network within 72 hours. Yesterday, June 8, 2020, our dedicated network of investigators, reporters, and tipsters discovered that the Augusta County Sheriff's Office still hadn't entered the new charge against Chujoy into the VCIN database, nor had they entered it into the National Crime Information Center's database. There was no need to try and figure out why this information wasn't entered into the database. The answer was simple. The writing was on the wall. The Augusta County Sheriff's Office is ran by Augusta County Sheriff Donald Smith. Smith is the longtime close friend and alleged lover of Felix Chujoy. Just this last fall, Chujoy told Breaking Through investigators that Donald Smith let him use his personal truck as a favor.
Is he still willing to help you out though? Like,
Yeah.
And you said, what other than let you borrow his truck and all that, has he done anything else for you?
Primarily his truck, because that's kind of like I'm on my way to Stanton, and I had a flat tire the other day. Things like that where it's an emergency type of thing.
And the sheriff himself took to Facebook on the official Augusta County Sheriff's Office's Facebook page to let the world know that he and Felix Chujoy were close friends and spent lots of time together after meeting at a CrossFit gym back in 2010. And during that decade-long relationship between the sheriff and Felix Chujoy was charged with internet child sex solicitation back in 2012. Then Chujoy was convicted of aiding and abetting in a federal human trafficking case. And Chujoy was convicted of 3 federal felonies: obstruction, conspiracy, and witness tampering. To our knowledge, not once did the sheriff second-guess his continued relationship with Chujoy. As a matter of fact, after Chujoy was arrested for internet child sex solicitation, who does he call from the Middle River Regional Jail booking area? That's right, folks. His close friend, Donald Smith. Chujoy was bonded out shortly after that call was made. When Felix Chujoy was in jail in Rockingham County witness tampering, who did he call 9 times on recorded phone calls using other inmates' PIN numbers? Donald Smith. When questioned by federal investigators about the calls, Smith lied to Special Agent Tammy Ketchum, telling her Felix only called him once. And when the case went to court, Smith, who was called to testify on behalf of the United States government, was called a hostile witness by U.S. Assistant District Attorney Carlton. She also said that Smith was choosing to protect Felix Chujoy, not the United States government. So it came as no surprise when we found out that Sheriff Smith's office hadn't entered the indictment and capias into the database 13 days after the indictment was handed down. What that meant was that as long as Felix Chujoy wasn't in Augusta County, he couldn't be arrested. He could leave the country if he wanted to. And as we witnessed yesterday, Felix Chujoy knew this. I made a call to Redemption LLC, a business owned and operated by Felix Chujoy. Here's the call.
Thank you for calling Redemption. It's Felix.
Hey, Felix. It's Theodore Whitelow. I was calling to talk to you about your indictment up in Augusta County.
Felix hung up on me, but you can tell by the call that it was business as usual for him. He didn't sound like a fugitive or a man on the run, so I decided to go to the address listed on Redemption LLC's website at 469 Eastover Drive in Harrisonburg. The residence where the business was located is owned by Chujoy's mother and was the focus of the 2015 federal investigation into Chujoy and his mother for human trafficking. As I headed to 469 Eastover Drive in the city of Harrisonburg, we contacted the Harrisonburg Police Department to let them know we were going to track down a fugitive, but that I wasn't making a citizen's arrest and that they should send an officer over there to meet me to make the arrest. I arrived at the residence and began filming. After close to an hour, no police had showed up to arrest the fugitive, Felix Adriano Chujoy. Then I received this call from the Emergency Communications Dispatch Center, explaining why.
What's going on?
Because the paperwork has not been entered into the database, the PD is not able to serve him. It has to be entered, so they're not able to respond until it's done.
So you're telling me on May 26th he was indicted and it still hasn't been entered into the database?
I don't have any information on that. I'm just relaying in
Okay.
a message from the officer.
Do you know whose responsibility it would be to do that? To enter it into the system?
It originated from.
So Augusta County Sheriff's Office should have entered this into the system, correct?
I don't know, sir. I don't have any information on the warrant.
If it originated in Augusta County, would that be their responsibility to?
It falls to the originating agency to enter it.
That's the Augusta County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, ma'am.
So because the sheriff of Augusta County failed to do his job and instead protected his close friend and alleged lover, Felix Chujoy, no other agency in the state, or the country for that matter, could arrest Chujoy until the Augusta County Sheriff's Office entered the indictment in capias into the database. So I took to the airwaves, asking Donald Smith why he hadn't entered the info into VSIN. It would only take minutes, I told him. I encouraged our viewers to call him and ask him why he was still refusing to do his job. Needless to say, it worked. And just when I was about to give up and began packing up my equipment, I was contacted by a valuable tipster. The sheriff caved. He gave in to my demands, and he entered the info into the database. Within minutes, Harrisonburg Police Department officers were on the scene, but by that time, Felix Chujoy was long gone, thanks to the 13-day head start allotted to him by the willful ignorance of the Augusta County Sheriff's Office under Augusta County Sheriff Donald Smith, who just so happens to be close friends and possibly much more with Felix Chujoy. Now, there are plenty of unanswered questions here, and hopefully we find answers to them soon. Sheriff Smith, why didn't your department enter the info into the database within 72 hours? What was your reason for not entering it into the database? Was it to protect Felix Chujoy, or was it to protect yourself? Felix is your close friend. I'm guessing he knows a lot about you, maybe even some dark secrets. My guess is a person like Chujoy, facing 5 to 40 years in the penitentiary, once arrested, may want to make a deal. Could that deal be telling, I don't know, maybe the feds or the Virginia State Police everything he knows about you, Sheriff? Sheriff Smith, thank you for doing the right thing at the end of the day by taking several minutes of your time to make sure that what should have been done 13 days earlier finally got done. But depending on where your close friend and wanted fugitive Felix Chujoy is now, it may have been too little, too late. And you know why. The most dangerous part about this whole situation is that if my dedicated network of tipsters, investigators, and reporters hadn't have helped me expose your latest act of corruption yesterday, that info probably still wouldn't be in the database. In the Breaking Through newsroom, Theodore Whitelow, Breaking Through News.